The next day, headlines across the nation exploded with news of the battle. Military prodigy, Lu Sheng defeats Jai Dao Martial Saint. The article highlighted how Lu Sheng defeated 32 of Jai Dao's top members while having the martial saint flee in critical conditions. The story spread like wildfire, shaking the entire world. Everywhere people repeated the same name, but not all was a celebration. With our boy's family, the mood was devastatingly different. When his mother heard the news of his uncertain fate, she collapsed, crying so hard it seemed like her soul was breaking apart. Elsewhere, Qin and Snowy also saw the news. Qin, noting Xiao Jai, had been a survivor of a great battle before and couldn't believe someone as powerful as him had been pushed to the brink of death. The thought of Lu Sheng being missing hit him hard. Snowy stood silently beside him, her eyes fixed on nothing, a single tear slipping down her cheek. Qin, desperate to calm his own growing worry, tried to reason things out, but then he asked how Lu Sheng's family was doing. Breaking the silence, Snowy explained that Lu Sheng's mother had fainted from grief several times already, but his father and younger sister remained firm, clinging to their belief that Lu Sheng would return. Looking at Snowy, he tried to comfort her by saying that even if Lu Sheng is seriously injured, he probably has some secret little treasure hidden away to heal himself. He bet he's off in some quiet corner, getting stronger. The next time they see him, he'll probably blow them all away again. But Snowy gave no response. Qin, unsure of what else to say, sighed deeply and began praying. Far away, atop a mountain, inside a massive structure, agonized groans echoed through the halls. Xiao Jai sat slumped, vomiting uncontrollably. His once imposing muscular frame had vanished, replaced by the appearance of a frail, youthful boy. Blood trickled from his eyes, and green liquid dripped from his mouth. Had it not been for the soul-melding elixir he used at the last moment, even his martial soul wouldn't have survived. The clone body he had painstakingly prepared for emergencies had been his only salvation. But Xiao Jai wasn't grateful. He was furious. His hatred for Lu Sheng burned hotter than ever. Not only he had destroyed his martial body, which he cultivated over a century. Trembling as he struggled to his feet, Xiao Jai cursed endlessly. Even with all his resources, it would still take many decades, maybe centuries, to regain his former strength. As his fury subsided, Xiao Jai couldn't help but marvel. Is Lu Sheng even human? Without that final trump card, there was no way he could have killed him. Turning his attention to the shelf filled with rare supplements, Xiao Jai guzzled them down greedily, even pouring the rest over his head. After some time, he finally began to stabilize, though his strength was a shadow of what it had been. But one question lingered in his mind. How could such a monstrous prodigy exist on this low-grade resource planet, an 8th level with such overwhelming strength? If Lu Sheng ever reached the 9th level, he'd be unstoppable, maybe even able to step off this planet entirely. Still, he consoled himself. At least he's dead. That's all that matters. But he knew he couldn't linger here. He packed up the essentials, including a box full of energy crystals, rare and priceless treasures. With those, he was confident he could secure protection from one of the 2 martial saints. The rest of his treasures didn't matter anymore. Staying here was far too dangerous. Since the news already got out, he's going to have a lot of people looking after this place. Elsewhere on a quiet beach, 2 people strolled along the sand. The girl, looking out at the waves, asked how the trip was, saying she'd always wanted to visit that place. The man, smoking a cigarette, shrugged and replied, "Nothing special, just routine work, since he's been running around non-stop these past few years." She wanted to know what exactly was he looking for. The man exhaled slowly and replied, "Energy crystals." The girl blinked in surprise as she never heard of such a thing. "They're the most energy-dense materials known to them," the man explained. "Think of them as both a cultivation treasure and a currency, incredibly rare, unbelievably valuable. Only a handful of places on the planet can produce them. Curiosity piqued. The girl asked if these crystals help with martial arts. The man smiled faintly, saying only martial saints can use them effectively. The girl jokes, asking if it's okay for him to say this much. He's not going to kill her right after, right? The man shook his head, saying she's been watching too many movies. It's not much secret since she will be attending the World Grandmaster tournaments next year. He explained every year, the world's output of energy crystals is pooled together. And every few years, all of the nations send their strongest martial artists to compete for a share. The girl's eyes widened, wondering if that's what it's really about. The man nodded and then explained, the tournament was created so countries could fight over energy crystals in a civilized way. Each nation sends its strongest to compete, and the rankings determine their share of the crystals. After this, the girl asks again that if there is competition between the martial saints of different countries, then will there be competition between the martial saints of our country as well? Then the man explains about it. Naturally, this is also the meaning of the existence of our Minjitang. Just like there are 4 symbols and 28 buildings under the command of the Supreme Martial Saint. Unfortunately, his martial saint is the youngest among the 3 martial saints of Dragon Country and became a saint in the shortest time, so his foundation is weak. The overall strength is quite different from Jidao Martial Arts School and Kyoyu Martial Arts School because every time the energy crystals are distributed, the adults have the smallest share. Jidao Martial Saint has the most, followed by Kyoyu Martial Saint. After listening to all this, the girl understands why this man's adults are struggling so much to find the new production site of energy crystals. However, in the meantime, the man starts receiving an email from the watch on his hand. Seeing this, he is a little surprised that why did this email come suddenly? As soon as he opens this email, he reads the things written in the email and screams in surprise. Seeing his surprise, the girl asks him if something wrong has happened. Then the man surprisingly tells the girl that the share of adults in this World Grand Master competition will not be reduced this time. As soon as the girl hears this, she asks why. After this, the man explains that because the 4 symbols and 28 constellations of Jidao have been completely destroyed by one person, and the Jidao Martial Saint is also on the verge of death, the Jidao lineage has ended. As soon as the girl hears about it, he also gets surprised and asks who did such a dangerous thing. Only one person. Does the Dragon Country have the 4th Martial Saint? Then the man says that actually you know that person, the girl. Hearing this, asks do I know him? Then the man started to talk seriously about it. It was he who insulted the Jidao Martial Arts School, and the master ordered you to go and help. But he used his strength to kill the young man Jidao Tong Kixing. As soon as the girl hears about this, she takes the name of RMC in surprise. Then the man starts running away from there because he wanted to tell his adults about this report, so he leaves the girl here and starts going. When the man leaves from here, the girl thinks about RMC that how can this be possible? Because the last time this girl saw RMC was not so strong. After this, we see the sea where RMC is fallen inside it at a very deep depth. There is a huge hole in his chest and his eyes are still closed, but then suddenly his eyes open, but this time there was a glow of a different color in his eyes,